Yeah, so I think I'll just go ahead and start right now. So, welcome to the AMA for our SwapBlast as well as SwapBased. We're going to touch upon both projects, obviously, and we're going to go ahead and see, the different types of things that we have ready in the future, and also we're going to go over our milestones as well that we have had. So we're just going to start off with SwapBlast, just because it's a smaller side. SwapBlast is obviously a smaller dex on to Blast, and we didn't win the Big Bang competition, but we're still gaining a lot of TVL over there. So most of the time we're just focused on Blast Gold and Blast Points as well, but it has the exact same system that SwapBase currently has. And we're currently partnerships over there. We have some launch pads. We have some partners as well, such as Fjord Foundry, and we have a few other projects launched on there. But Blast is honestly a completely different ecosystem than Base. Blast is more focused on the airdrop system, on gaming, on NFTs, while Base is more focused on onboarding, ease of access, and obviously you can sort of see that with the way we've sort of done swap based. We did have an issue obviously with Swap Blast at the beginning with Blast Points, and that was due to us deploying before the mainnet address was live for the points, and because of that we had to work with the Blast team, and luckily we got Blast Points up there. But we're still waiting to hear back about Blast Gold, and that's one of the things that that's really just sort of stopping us. If we want to make a Medium article, we want to do a dashboard as well, but we just want to hear back about the Blast Gold situation. And we do obviously have a prediction system. The same things that are on SwapBased, we want to bring onto SwapBlast, but obviously we want to do that in a meaningful way once we have enough liquidity, enough volume. But Blast is a completely different ecosystem than Base. We have a lot of different pools there as well to sort of help with the floor price. But we'll go ahead and go onto the Base side since that's why most of you are here for SwapBased. So SwapBased, obviously, we've been at Dex running since around the beginning of August, actually. We've been running for about 8 months. We just passed around 500 mil total trading volume. So it's a pretty big milestone for us, and our TVL only continues to go up. We're sitting around 8 mil TVL, and you can sort of see that our volume is going up as well. Many times we've passed Sushi Swap as well too in volume, and yeah, it's a great feat to actually have. But I think most of you obviously are here for the fact of Base is obviously done printing, and I'm going to be talking mostly more about Base and Coin. And you guys are obviously free to ask questions inside the chat, inside the stage, but also give them inside the AMA questions as well. And I'm going to go ahead and answer all of them. So obviously, Coin was introduced after Base had no inflation, and the two differences between the coins mainly is that Base is our governance token, while Coin is mainly used for partner incentives. So with a governance token, a lot of people actually don't know what a governance token is for, but you can actually vote for a lot of the way the protocol works. So we're going to start having snapshots up later about how certain decisions are made, certain changes to products, things like the lottery and stuff like that, and you're going to need to hold Base in order to have that. So the more Base you have, the more voting weight you have as well. But me personally, I sort of realized that governance isn't the only thing as well. So we're gonna sort of go towards the route of, and you can already sort of see it on the homepage, where you can sort of vote for pools. Um, we're sort of exploring that as well. I think some of you might be familiar with Aerodrum and stuff, but we want to really bring most of the value towards Base. So obviously all the ETH that we get from all the trading value and all that is just put right back into the single staking vaults. So any ETH that is actually generated by the protocol, the team does take a cut of it, but the majority, about 80% of that, is put in right back into the protocol, into the single stakes, back into the LPs, back into buybacks, into burns as well. You guys have seen that we've opened up the channel as well. That's one of the things we want to just make clear with everyone. We want to be as transparent as possible. Obviously, this is our like first voice AMA, but at the same time, we sort of like to make our work speak for itself. So because we've been going on since August, and obviously we have a lot of trading volume as well, I think that speaks numbers for itself. But a lot of people were asking why to have two coins, why stop the inflation on Base, why not continue with Coin. But I'll be specific about Base. Inflation happens anywhere, and it's actually one of the main reasons for devaluation. So in an inflation-free system, holders don't really have to worry about new supply entering the market, and it doesn't really erode your purchasing power. So this kind of stability actually lets us so no more base is coming into the market. Obviously, you can lock base, single stake more base, which would actually take more out of circulation. But most of the revenue that we generate for the protocol is going to go back into the base token. I see a lot of the AMA questions asking about price and stuff, and obviously we cannot disclose price, the prices and things like that. But mostly what we can say is that the majority of the revenue made by the protocol is going to be given directly back to the users, whether it be through single staking, whether it be through the LP pools, whether it be through buyback and incentivizing the LPs, whether it be through the lottery system. We have plenty of other products as well. Like you guys have also seen that we have the sniper bot, but there's plenty of other projects too that we just in collaborations with. We're trying to obviously make sure that it matches for us, but that's one of the main things for us about SwapBased and about the base token as well, is that now that there's no inflation for it, now we can actually, the market can actually sort of decide for itself while we actually give revenue back to the token. And with coin, we needed a token as well to obviously keep the emissions going, and having that for partner incentives for other tokens as well that are launching on base, whether it be a meme token, whether it be any serious project, they can instantly get some coin emissions as well. And we're not leaving any of the revenue out of the coin either. There's still more, all the use cases for base are going to be the same use cases for coin as well. But just think of base more so like as a premium version. So some people are going to ask like, why is base powered by coin? I still don't understand really the difference. So I'll just really just put it down to like 5 different points. So the more liquidity providers that don't partake in the protocol and use the instant exit method, it actually gives us 20% buyback and burns for base, direct by 20% by the way, direct ETH rewards to XBase for another 10%, direct ETH rewards to Ocoin for 5%, and buybacks to Ocoin for 15%, and liquidity for 10%. We're gonna make a flowchart to obviously uh, give everyone it, but yeah, we actually do have a percentage of where all the redeem fees will go back to buybacks, will go back to burns, and will go back to just direct ETH rewards. So this obviously, increases the demand for coin as well. And obviously, you can see that we opened up the lottery. We're going to open up the lottery for coin too. So that is one thing as well. I did get a few questions about perpetuals. Perpetuals are something that we sort of put on hold. So you can obviously still get the BLP token, but perpetuals, they need a lot of liquidity. So it's something that we're sort of going to the essence of, maybe we'll try out a different system or something, but it's a really cool system, perpetuals, but it's a lot of people don't really use it that much, so it's not something that we're really focused on. And I'm just going to go more into the use cases actually for base, XBase, coin, and Ocoin. So as well, coin can be used to provide liquidity for coin and ETH, and obviously receive coin and Ocoin rewards. And the same thing for base. You can provide liquidity for base ETH, and you get coin and Ocoin rewards. And then base as well can be locked for at a rate of 1 to 1 for XBase, and then you could use the XBase to sort of single stake. I know a lot of people are sort of asking, why would I lock my base? A lot of people actually do that to sort of lock some of their positions, whether it be 10%, 20%, and then they could just sort of stick it in the ETH vault, and just single stick at the same time. So it's kind of sort of doing two things at once. A lot of people will always ask, what's the best way to do this, or what's the best way for me to do XYZ right now? The reality is, and I've always suggested this to everyone, try out a mix of everything. Try out to vest some of your rewards instantly, vest some of them over the course of 5 months, try 2 months, and then single stake some of them as well. So that way you just have sort of exposure to all of it, and you can just sort of actually see even exactly the benefits to it. Obviously, if you invest for 5 months, you get more tokens than before, but many people don't choose that option. Obviously, most people choose the instant exit option, and that's even better for the base and coin holders. And yeah, just to touch on some more reasons why base has lower incentives than coin, is because base has no inflation at all. There's consistent buybacks and burns, and we have the consistent revenue sharing with XBase, and we're incentivizing base locking. So base obviously is the main token, but it would be even better if more people would lock into XBase, correct? So that's the sort of method we're going towards, is that if we can make more people lock towards XBase and go towards that incentive, then it's obviously more of like a supply shock incentive. I mean, there's less base being sold on the market. There's only base being able to be bought. And then there's benefits also for coin is that there's high incentives which will keep the APR high. There's constant buybacks and liquidity strengthening, and there's constant revenue sharing for altcoin. So for X-Base it's 1x, and for altcoin it's 2x, and that's to as well incentivize the locking. And it's just easier to compound your gains as well for a coin and ETH because there's obviously the deposit fees on that pool. So that is some things I just want to touch on specifically just for SwapBased. We actually are in talks with a lot of partners, specifically some meme projects as well, that do want to migrate the liquidity over to SushiSwap because I don't know if you guys have seen, we've obviously passed them in volume multiple times. So we're just trying to get a bunch of projects over on our side as well while we continue building. And at the same time, we're just continuously just trying to be more transparent with everyone. And that's just in terms of these AMAs, in terms of us just showing face. On-chain summer is coming up as well, so that is obviously a big thing for us too. There's a lot of grants coming as well. There's the Optimism Builder grant coming as well. So there's a lot of rewards we want to just give back to our users too, because Base is honestly a chain. Well, I did talk about Blast a bit, but Base is a chain that more so will incentivize developers to build. And while they incentivize us to build, we sort of want to just give that directly back to you guys. So the more we could just do that, the more SwapBased gets more attention, the more you guys, enjoy using the platform, enjoy giving feedback. Um, I will actually say some partners right off the bat. So to start off, actually, I know some of you will have to go to the website and you'll choose between V2 and V3 liquidity. We are partnering with Otis Router, so soon you won't even have to choose between either one. And Otis is like the best router in DeFi. It gives you the best rates and everything. So whether it be a stable pair, whether it be base or coin pair, it won't really matter at all. So the one thing that I do also want to touch up on is the other projects. So other projects, obviously, you guys have seen things like Degen, things like uh, I could name a lot right now because we're in a lot of discussion, but mainly for us is any of you guys that have your favorite meme coins, you can invite them obviously to deploy on SwapBased, but we obviously do have our own requirements. We do obviously want people to co-market with us. We want people to give us more attention as well because I think SwapBased as well, while we're one of the lower dexes, we're one of the more high quality ones. So one of the things we do want to touch upon is the marketing, is the business development. So most of you that have been here with us since the beginning have mostly known that we have been sort of lacking on that part. But I am happy to say that we are in a lot of group chats right now, like quite a lot of discussions, as you can see with the Sniper bot, with the router partnership that I just discussed, and some of the tokens that I discussed as well. We are waiting for them to migrate too, but we realize the market is sort of in its own state. But in terms of coin and base, that is really the main thing for it, is that we want to keep there's obviously no inflation for base. The revenue sharing will continue going back into it. And if more revenue comes into the protocol, more revenue goes back into base as well as coin. And at the same time, we can still have coin for the partner incentives to actually give to people. So I'm going to go ahead and just go through some of the questions first. I hope I did touch upon anything. If there's any questions you guys do have, go ahead and do ask them because this is our first AMA, and obviously we've had a lot of things happen for SwapBased, a lot of good things as well. Happy to say that there's been no exploits, no misuse of funds or anything like that since the beginning of August. So everything's been going great for us. It's been just a steady climb up, and building has been great on this chain. Building with you guys has been great. You guys ask great questions. And I'm just going to go through the questions here. Again, someone asked, would you see the price of base happening in the short term than the long term? I can't really say the price of anything, but obviously, with everything I said in terms of the supply shock, in terms of just actually giving revenue back, I think the market can sort of just decide for itself really what the price would be. But we want more people to lock Xbase as well, and if we can get more people to sort of incentivize pools with Xbase, I think you can sort of see it yourself on the front end. If you do on the drop-down menu, you can see the voting power and everything. You can sort of see the direction that we're going towards. No, after coin emissions also end, it won't be another token to rinse and repeat. It won't be anything like that. The reality is with the coin emissions is that we want to actually be buying back the tokens, to sort of give emissions back. So think of sort of like campaign style things. So think of base emissions coming back in the future as in the sense of like three reward emissions. So we would sort of give a campaign to a certain type of pool. And I'm just going through your question here, referring to what you were talking about. Yeah, I mean, so the bonuses for them is the fact that if they have enough liquidity and volume, that they can also get a farm as well onto SwapBased. And because that volume and liquidity benefits the actual DEX, that revenue is going directly back into base and coin buyers. And because of that reason, you know, I mean, we sort of just want people to sort of just deploy on here to begin with. It's not in the sense of that we're just going to give every meme token a farm or something like that, but more so that because we see that we have a better functioning DEX than SushiSwap, we have V2 and V3 soon our router as well. Um, it's really just a no-brainer. You know what I mean? If you look on even on the deck screener things, on the deck screener trending list, if you look on a lot of things, whenever we do beat SushiSwap, we just need sort of that extra edge, and I think that's all we need. And then, you know what I mean? Because I see meme coins are a massive thing onto base as well. But you have to remember at the same time, since we've been here since the beginning, we've always focused on the legitimate projects and stuff like that. But me myself, I'm also involved in the ecosystem too, so I'm very well versed with the meme coin space, with DGen. We've talked with the DGen team as well. You know what I mean? Because they have their layer 3 as well. I could go on about that, but yeah, we want to keep the focus towards base and just swap base too. So because we want to do that, we want to sort of capture the meme coin market, but at the same time, we're focusing on the functionality. So the router has to be working good. So once we get the router working, people can deploy on V2 or V3, whether it be a meme coin, whether it be a serious project. And at the same time, we want to get some of the OG ones onto here. Some of the ones like, and I'll just name them off the bat, Toshi, Mochi, we're in talks with all of them, uh, TYBG, a lot of the OG base coins that you'll see on pools like Aerodrum, that's what we're trying to get onto SwapBase because they're the legitimate ones, they're the ones that have been building since the beginning, and that's the main thing. There's actually one thing I did want to touch up on, and this is regarding the Harvest Haven launchpad situation. So it is obviously unfortunate what did happen regarding that, and me myself, I've obviously been a victim of some things, but we are going to release a postmortem regarding that situation about everything that did happen, and sort of the due diligence that we did take, that we should have taken, and that we're going to take in the future. But the one thing is that we did actually report everything to investigators right now, and we are waiting a reply from them. And if we don't get a reply within the next few days, we're still going to release a postmortem and let you guys know that we've been doing everything. The base burning process, I believe I did explain earlier. You might have just joined, but we've already done one obviously buyback and burn. You can see it obviously in the actual channel. Let me just find the link here. You can find it under the infos channel, the buybacks program. So we're gonna do consistent buybacks and burns. We're gonna try to keep it on like a weekly schedule. So if we could do it weekly or bi-weekly. I did go into directly the numbers, but I'll go into it again. So with the instant exit method, this is exactly how it's gonna work. So all the ETH that's generated towards the instant exit, 20% of it is gonna be used to buy back and burn base. 10% of it is gonna be used for X-based rewards. 5% is going to be used for O-coin staking rewards for ETH rewards. 15% is going to be used to buy back coin, and 10% will be used to add liquidity back to coin. So you can see most of the ETH revenue is going towards the base, but in terms of liquidity providing, coin will have a higher APR because there's inflation. And because base has no inflation, it has consistent buyback and burns, and consistent revenue sharing, and it's our main token as well for governance. That's why it's going to have, just at least on the farming side, it'll have slightly lower APR. But in terms of revenue sharing, it actually has more. But that's because we're obviously adding liquidity and buying back coin as well. And I will actually just actually copy and paste that for you in the chat, just so you can actually go ahead and we're gonna add this to the docs as well. And like Pina showed you guys in the chat, we'd rather get some simple infographics for you guys. If you've seen as well, we've done some info videos as well. We do need to do some new ones, but one of the things that I want to make clear is onboarding is one of the biggest things onto Base. So for example, I was in a Discord call a few days ago on the Base channel regarding smart wallets, and that is their main thing that they're going towards is onboarding. So for us right now is I know some people are having issues with Coinbase Wallet. We're very aware of that as well. Some people are having issues when they connect with the bridge on mobile. Those things need to be fixed because those are some of the main things with regards to onboarding. So if we can get, those things resolved too. At the same time, they've also mentioned a grant too. So they have their own smart wallet that you're going to be able to sign up soon with a Google account or with Apple Pay. It's actually really cool. You're going to be able to actually interact with dApps and stuff onto Base directly from your Coinbase account. So you might not need to ever use a MetaMask account. So it's a kind of a smart wallet type thing, and we're working towards integrating that because we even get our own rewards towards that. So if we can get rewards towards that, that's more buybacks and burns for Base, and that's more ETH rewards for you guys, and it's a benefit for everyone really. So this summer really is kind of exciting for us. Obviously, the market is kind of like shaky right now, but with regards to actually building and incentives, we got a lot to give back to you guys still, and there's a lot more to come up too. So we still got a lot of stuff to continuously work on. But I'm just gonna go again through the questions, see if there's any more. And I think, Jack, I think I did touch upon this. As ETH grows from various sources, yeah, absolutely. That's where, yeah, most of it's going to be distributed back to Ocoin. The same type of distribution that I put into the chat there. And I think that's mostly the concern people have. It's mostly about base, coin, and anything like that. And by the way, don't be afraid to voice any of your concerns regarding it too. You know what I mean? Because, and yeah, I just want to make sure I touched upon the last question here about getting some meme coins to see liquidity. Oh yeah, I did talk about that, about them getting some bonuses. So yeah, some of the ones that have high volume and everything, of course they'll get some coin and O-coin incentives as well. Um, Everyone's actually up for their own staking vault as well. So if someone wanted to, they could put up an X coin to earn base, but they themselves have to buy the token. So we're in talks with partners about that, and that's what I mean by we have multiple different ways to do partner incentives. So people don't have to just have a pool for us, and that's really what it comes down to. But obviously, due diligence is a big thing as well. And like I mentioned earlier regarding the Harvest Haven launchpad, we're gonna have a postmortem on that. So we're gonna get you guys details on that as well, and we're gonna let you guys know how we're gonna go regarding launchpad. And I just wanna go back in the chat here. Did anyone else have any questions? I don't know. I can continuously go on about a few other things too, but I'll give everyone a little bit to just maybe ask some questions or throw something down. Yeah, so it'll be a long time coming after coin emissions end. But by that point, I mean, it's sort of hard for me to sort of say this now because it's like, okay, everyone can just sort of front run us, right? But if we can continuously buy back coin and base itself, you know what I mean, even once it's at a max supply, and then give it back to everyone at a sort of a controlled rate, in our sense of the protocol itself would own tokens, because I don't know if you guys do know that we don't actually own any tokens as a team. So that's the one main thing too. Um, some people do like that, you know what I mean, in the sense of like, okay, so the team can't really always dump on us. Some people don't like that because they think, well, the team has no incentive to bring value to the token. The reality is, I mean, I buy on the market just like you guys, and I always have been as well. I'm farming just like you guys. I pay the deposit fees just like you guys. So that's the same. That's what it is really. And I hope that did answer your question. So really, after the emissions end, by that point, the protocol should hopefully have enough. And at that point, we do want to have enough volume as well to be able to provide significant um, APRs just on trading volume. There's no announcement about changing the ETH-based farming. I do see that you did just join. about a week ago. But if you can maybe be more specific on that, there actually is no changes now. Just a matter of moving over the liquidity to the new pool. But that is for every pair. Actually, yeah. So, Laurent, I sort of did touch upon that. So to sort of have the mechanism for like what GLP does. And do you mean BLP? Or are you referring to actual GLP? I just want to be sure that you're. It's the same thing. It's the liquidity provider token for for the perpetual trading. Yeah. So the thing is, I talked about perpetuals before. What the version we have right now is actually it's a fork of GMX. So I don't want to get too technical here because some people might not know, but GMX itself it's a very popular perp dex on Arbitrum. So it's been very successful there. But the thing is, it needs a lot of liquidity. So because of that, that's sort of why we pause the perpetuals. And we do want to actually have like we do want to obviously change it up a bit, but because it's not that big of a revenue generator and a lot of people don't use it, it's not something that we're focused on. We do want to actually change it and make it so the liquidity provider token is worth having. But the problem is with the actual LP token is that most of the time it actually loses value um, compared to the people actually providing liquidity, right? So traders usually win in that aspect because the APRs usually can't keep up in that sense, and then sometimes providing it is sort of useless, right? Uh, there's a lot of different perp dexes that we're going to partner with as well, and maybe we could take some inspirations onto them. Maybe we can um, obviously get some of our coin onto their LP as well, because even if we can get like 1% or 2% of like coin or base onto their liquidity provider token, that'd be very good. But we need heavy liquidity for that as well. So because I touched up earlier on the whole meme coin space, it's not something that we're so focused on because we're in talks with so many people. But I realize that is what's driving the market right now. So because I've been on base, we've been here since August. We do know all the OG meme coins and stuff. So we're in talks with them, and we're just waiting to go ahead. Exactly. And you guys can also see, I think I touched up earlier on the voting thing too as well. I am going to touch upon that. So if you even go to just the farm page, for example, and you go on the drop down menu, you can sort of see how you can vote for a pool. We've had that in place for a while now, and it's something that you've seen probably on dexes like Aerodrum or other things like that. It's a very hard thing to get around. Basically, protocols will put up like essentially bribes, and if you vote for the pool, then you get rewards for that pool. Um, it's a very the reason why personally we're sort of not going directly towards that way is because it's very centralized in that sense. You got to sort of watch the protocol. You got to make, I mean, set very high requirements for them, and we don't really want to be like that for swap based. We want to actually like, I mean, keep it decentralized because that's the point of DeFi, and that's mainly it. You know what I mean? With regards to emissions, of course, we're obviously going to only provide emissions for legitimate tokens, but some of the larger ones, once they do deploy on here, once we can get some co-marketing and everything, then yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is what I'm touching upon now. So that's what I meant by having more coins to trade. So you can actually provide liquidity for any token you want to, and there is some benefits and disadvantages to it, and I will actually talk about it on the stage right now. Some people might understand, some people might not. I'll try to keep it simple, but if you see a token like DGen, for example, you can take DGen and make your own LP onto SwapBased, like there is on Uniswap and SushiSwap. Obviously, they mean the liquidity might not be that high, so the price impact is higher. But what it does is it allows people to sort of arbitrage trade. So whatever size that you put up, if someone's buying more on Uniswap and the price goes up, someone will have to come into SwapBase to buy because the price is significantly lower. So if it goes up, and I'm gonna throw random numbers here, if it goes up to 7 cents on Uniswap, but no one's bought on SwapBase, and it's still like 5 cents, someone will, regardless of liquidity, someone will buy so they can, you know what I mean, make that tiny bit of profit, even if it's like a $2 trade, even if there's $5 of liquidity. Now, the dangerous part about that is someone could just take their degen as well, and they could just sort of just sell on your liquidity pool to, you know what I mean, to to just sell on it, and anyone can just do that with any token. That's just how it works with any DEX. Um, so obviously, be careful when you're doing that with your favorite tokens. That's why we want to sort of partner with them first before we tell you guys it's safe to trade on here. That's why we haven't whitelisted tokens like Degen, like Roost, like Boomer, like Friend, or any of that stuff, because Friend obviously is on its own DEX. It's not, you can't trade it onto ours, so that's the reason. But yeah, if you're, like I said earlier, if you're in any other projects, encourage them to open up a ticket here, because we can have them whitelisted, and if they have enough volume and liquidity, we can have a farm up with them up in no time, right? And like I said earlier, we're in talks with some other people to sort of migrate the liquidity over. Some people have locked liquidity, so it's a bit of a headache for them. I understand we got to wait on their part, but if we can sort of get that ball rolling, we need people to sort of just deploy on here rather than sushi. No, thanks for understanding. I'm just happy that you understood. But yeah, Lorande, just to touch up more on the coin emissions. Yeah, that's sort of why we've slowed it down significantly, right? Because obviously with base, the max supply was always going to be that. It was just a matter of when it was going to happen, right? There are some people as well who will throw up emissions of like 100 years or like unlimited emissions. I've never been a fan of that kind of stuff because that is an inevitable death spiral, if you know what I mean. So Dessa, you've been here since the beginning, so I'm not sure if you knew the last launchpad that we had sort of had a different situation where they unfortunately stole a bunch of funds. We did do our best due diligence and everything, and it really did not make any sense for them to do it because if they had just released their product, you know what I mean, they would have already generated the revenue. So it's really a weird situation, and their whole KYC as well was kind of it was with a different company too. But we've reported that to sort of investigators, and we're waiting on them to reply. But even if they don't reply by the end of the week, because it's been about 2 weeks now, we're just going to release a post-mortem and let you guys know what we're going to change in the future. But yeah, there are launchpad listings in the works, but because of that situation, we don't want to just throw out listings at you guys. We want to make, the whole point is safety for you guys. You know what I mean? Like I said, we're happy to say that we've had no exploits or anything like that. There's been other dexes like Aerodrum. I know their front end has been compromised twice. And I don't want to sit here and point fingers, but things have happened to other dexes as well that I'm proud to say that hasn't happened to us. Yeah, so I'll actually talk about sex listings in general. Um, Really, there's only one sex we'd obviously go with, and that is obviously, I mean, the big boys obviously at Coinbase. But to be real, honestly, sexes they're not really the driving force that they used to be anymore. So I know a lot of people like from 2020, 2021 would be like, oh, there's like a sex listing coming up with like, and I'll just sort of random name, I guess, like a Bitmart or something like that. But a lot of sexes don't support based withdrawals or deposits. And because they don't do that, and because they're not even directly tied with Coinbase or even on the Base ecosystem page, we're not really that interested, if you know what I mean. And most of them just take your supply, and they don't even actually generate that much volume, and they actually just end up selling on your users. So you end up just giving a lot of supply for no reason. So that's what I meant. Unless it's really like the big boys at, you know what I mean, Coinbase, and obviously there's a lot of legal issues when it comes to that, which we will have to go through as well. But before SEC listing, there's a lot of things that need to happen. But you just said direct deposit and withdrawal process for buying with USDT. Yeah, that's actually what the Coinbase Smart Wallet is. So we're going to try to implement that before June, but you're going to be able to directly buy Base. You're going to be able to directly interact with the DApp from your Coinbase account, not your Coinbase Wallet app, your actual account. So it's kind of cool actually. To be able to like onboard onto that, you'll be able to buy coin directly from any asset on Coinbase. It's like I was watching the presentation myself, obviously because they were showing developers, and I was really surprised myself. I was like, wow. And you can be able to do with Apple Pay as well, like not even just USDT. So it's pretty interesting the stuff you can do. And yeah, that they partnered with Paymaster as well. They actually Link, the fact that you just said that they have a workaround for people who don't have Coinbase, so they still have a Paymaster situation for people who, you know what I mean. who aren't in that situation. Me personally, I'm in Canada. The developers obviously they live in Europe, so they don't have Coinbase either. But we're still implementing it, and they can still use it as well. So we're gonna make a tutorial on that, and that's the same thing too. So for right now, one of the main things we want to do obviously is continue to generate revenue. We do have some more announcements in the works. Like I said, the router. We do have some more people that want to deploy liquidity on here. And one of the main things that we want to do is provide more information videos for you guys. So we want to have those embedded on the website. So we got a lot of questions in chat about how to do this. What's the difference between V2 and V3? And I mean, I don't mind explaining that actually. I will explain it in a minute. But a lot of those questions, I think if they're embedded into the website, it would just be a lot better for everyone else, of course. If you know what I mean, because I understand myself too. I was a beginner myself in crypto before too. But that's the main thing. The Coinbase Smart Wallet is going to be, in my opinion, a big game changer. And I'm going to bring this up again because a few people joined. On-chain summer is going to have a lot of rewards for developers that we want to give back to you guys. Optimism is having their builder grant in about 10 days that we're going to be applying to, and it requires KYC as well. And that's we want to let you guys know that as to obviously we've been around since August, but anything that we need to do to be more transparent, of course we will do. I know some people asked about audits. Just to let you guys know, obviously we were a fork of QuickSwap, like a one-to-one fork, and that's directly audited. And our V3 pools are directly forked from PancakeSwap, which is also audited. So for that reasons, obviously, there's no reason for us to go through an external one. The code hasn't the code hasn't changed, and obviously there was no exploits. Um, I actually want to touch up more on the V3 pool for some people who might have wondered why do we even do new pools. It actually wasn't just the O-coin emissions. So there's obviously been some things like the APRs were sort of just not showing correctly, but everything was working on the back end. But these new V3 pools are actually a lot better in terms of just functionality. So I'll actually explain V3 in general for people who don't really know compared to V2. So V2 is just the general liquidity pairing. You pair liquidity and you get regular and permanent loss. The difference with V3 slash concentrated liquidity is you actually choose your ranges. And with the difference between choosing your ranges and having impermanent loss is that if you're out of range and you sort of remove your LP, you get back one asset. So I'm going to use like ETH USDC as an example, and I'll have to use basic prices. So let's say you have your ranges at like 3K and 29.90, and you have ETH USDC. If you go out of range below, your entire LP will go back into USDC to sort of mitigate that impermanent loss. And if it goes above, then your entire LP will go back into ETH. So once again, to sort of mitigate that impermanent loss. But obviously, the disadvantage is if you're not farming in that range, you're not actually farming trading rewards. But obviously, the tighter the range, the more fees that you get, and that's the incentive to sort of do that. The good thing about this pool is that your fees don't actually zap out until you actually remove liquidity. So even if you're out of range, you can go back farming in range too. So you know what I mean? Some people had that question before, and I've used a lot of protocols. It was really annoying because you got to rebalance a lot of times. You got to monitor it too. But this way, you can sort of set your own range and just kind of AFK. And one of the reasons why we're moving towards V3 is it just provides way better trading routes. If you use SC for stable pairs, even for lower liquidity, it provides you even lower price impact. So, yeah, I mean, if you're swapping stable pairs, I highly suggest to just, I mean, click the V3 tab, check it out, and you'll be surprised. Even if it's, I mean, it's a significant amount, and that's why we want to push people towards there, educate people towards V3, and we're gonna do that with the new wallet, with obviously more people deploying on here. But when it comes to meme tokens, most of them are V2 because when it comes to the token volatility, you essentially want to have V2 because, like I said, V3, you set the sort of the range that it's in. So it's really good for stable pairs, and that's why we have the this we're gonna have an ETH base LP in the V3, and then that's why for volatile pairs, V2 is a little bit better. So yeah, I did a lot of talking there, and I just want to make sure that everyone did understand that. And if you do have any questions, once again, shoot them off in the chat. Go ahead and ask an AMA questions. I'm going to take another look there to make sure I didn't miss anything. And once again, even if I said something and I wasn't clear about it, ask again, and I'll be more clear about it. That's one thing too. Like I want to be as transparent as possible, and I want everyone to sort of like leave this AMA knowing that all the questions you guys might have had over the past few weeks have been answered. And if not, just tag me in the chat as well, and I'll be sure to answer. Even if I'm not on my desktop, I could answer any question really. But that's the gist of it because I mean base we have no more inflation for base. So now it's like before a lot of people think it's a sort of a bad thing, but it's really better. There's no inflation. Now the revenue sharing is you mean is still going into the token. It really is a sort of a win-win situation. I think a lot of people too are sort of spoiled with tokens that have unlimited emissions. You know what I mean? To just keep going. I really don't. I'm not really a fan of that kind of flywheel because it can really just sort of go down a lot worse, right? From the expos fee. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I did touch up on that. We're gonna try to have them weekly or bi-weekly, and we're gonna have it on like a calendar type schedule. So we obviously did post it in the channel as well. Not even the X post it. We posted it in the info channel, so you can see the buyback program. But once again, we want to have like more graphics, more info videos, stuff like that to make it more transparent for you guys and more for other people. Yeah, I'll just link you the channel right now. It's like, are you talking total tokens that burned? If you're talking total tokens, that's one thing that we do want to add to the analytics page. So if you look at the analytics page, there's a lot of stuff on there that's obviously interesting, but we want to sort of add more things onto the analytics page, if you guys know what I mean. So because we have coin and old coin, and we have these new systems as well, we want to make, like I said, more things transparent. Oh, to see how many tokens are going to be burned? That's an interesting question, actually. I'll actually see if we can do that. Yeah, I'll see if we can actually show you guys on like a live dashboard. Like this many tokens are gonna be burned. You know what I mean? On this date, and then the number will just keep going up. Yeah, it's pretty kind of cool, actually. Yeah. Well, so so revenue sharing for the token, it provides it actually does exactly what you just said. So revenue sharing for the token is in terms of the ETH single staking, right? So ETH single staking, buybacks, and adding liquidity. So buybacks and burns, yeah, they work. I'm gonna be honest with you because there's less tokens in the market, but I mean obviously buybacks and burns itself don't really work. So but buying and adding liquidity helps set a floor price more, especially for a token that doesn't have any more inflation. So if you think in the sense of all this revenue sharing that's coming back into base, you know what I mean? There's no more inflation coming back in. There's only tokens that are going to be probably locked up more so that people can sort of single stake for ETH. Do you kind of get where I'm getting at here? The lottery as well. We're sort of incentivizing X base more. There's going to be no more base coming into the system. And that's really what we want to do. So that's why we want to provide that upward support. But you have to remember, I can't really, especially as as someone as this project, I can't tell you guys, yeah, we're gonna shoot the price. The price is gonna go up 50,000x. You know what I mean? Because obviously I can't even say that, right? If ETH goes down, you know what I mean, to $1,000 or something, that's gonna heavily affect us without a doubt because everything's paired with ETH. You guys gotta obviously keep that in mind. There's a lot of external factors too that a lot of people weren't factoring in, even the past like few weeks. No, I don't think it's a good idea. Like I touched upon earlier. I know you guys really think sex listings is like a big thing, like centralized exchange, but if we want to actually get listed, you know what I mean? Coinbase will approach us, or sorry, any these big Coinbase or Binance will approach us or something like that. But these smaller exchanges, no. But you have to be specific about bigger exchanges too. Like you have to because me personally, because I live personally in Canada, right? So it means it's only really Coinbase, right? And that's their main audience, right? We want to stick towards what the chain is towards. No, absolutely. Like I said, any exchange as well. One thing we don't want to do, and we want to do this as well. any sex listing that we do, we have to give up the supply to the actual exchange. Right? So because we have to give it, no, yeah. So yeah, a lot of people only use Coinbase, but I know what you mean for other people as well, like the Asian market as well, the African market too. But that you have to understand, the Coinbase Smart Wallet actually does solve that. I'm gonna make my own I guess video on it once we do onto SwapBase, but like I watched them on a video actually do it. So if you guys know like Jesse Pollock and all of them, they're the ones that actually did the presentation. And yeah, man, they sort of yeah. OKEX, by the way, we are in talks with them. So like I don't mind even saying that as well. It's just a matter of integration, a few things too. Like I know exactly what you guys are talking about as well. We want to do stuff with like Trust Wallet too. You know what I mean? We want to get more blog posts and stuff out there. Uh, One thing we're gonna be very clear about as well. A lot of this stuff like giveaways and paying for blog posts, those are I'm gonna be honest with you guys, those are a waste of money. It really is. The best way for us to actually get attention, and this is just the reality, continue obviously marketing on our side, doing AMAs, doing joint AMAs with other projects, because now we're in the Base Founders Club, so we're in contact with more people. But not only just that, is educating you guys and you guys educating other people as well. CD is here. He's just really busy right now. He might be taking his might be actually eating right now. You gotta remember he lives in Europe, so for me it's the morning, so that's the whole thing. But CD is always around. And would you look at that? He just joined. So yeah, Lorande, you actually did ask a lot of good questions. Let me go up and touch upon. Yeah, so that's the whole thing as well. Like tracking the amount of support, even if it's not reflected immediately on the price, can help. Absolutely. You know what I mean? With regards to like buybacks and burns and stuff. One thing too, you guys have to remember, and this is just a fact. We try to keep the website from loading too much because I don't know if you guys have been on a few other dApps that have been like laggy. That's sort of because of consistently loading information. So we're definitely gonna get that out for you guys. Uh, Let me just obviously talk with the developer. Like I said, the Coinbase Smart Wallet is our main focus main focus in terms of development right now, and as well as like making sure the APR, TVL, everything's good on the front end for SwapBased. Let me reiterate again. Everything is working flawlessly on the back end, and like this new V3 farm, I couldn't be more excited about it because it's gonna be way better. It already is way better. It's way better to farm. It's better for farming. Whenever you want to take LP out, whenever you want to add more liquidity, whenever you want to remove liquidity, it's just so seamless. Before with the old one, it was such a headache to do on the back end. You'd have to break. It was really weird, honestly. It didn't make it even like friendly at all. So with this new one, like, I'm just happy to say that it works really flawlessly. And V3 is something that I think more of the serious projects want to take towards that level. So I'll just go right off the bat, say things like seamless. Obviously, I mean they're a protocol as well that we're talking with. So like I've dropped a lot of names right now, but a lot of people as well. They're sort of pivoting towards their market situation. So I'm glad to say that our TVL just keeps going up, right? As ETH goes down, our TVL goes up. Coin has, I mean, did great on the state of its launch. You know what I mean? Coin is still doing great in my opinion. So it's like we have so much revenue and stuff to get back to you guys, and there's just so much stuff coming up with builder grants. The like I said before, optimism, base themselves. They're giving back so much as well for the summer. So it's gonna be even hotter than it was last summer. And I don't know if you guys were here last summer, but yeah, base was pretty on fire even during the bear market. And that was it for us. During that time, actually, there's a lot of other dexes, and that's why I'm proud to say that we stuck out. You know what I mean? We stuck out, and we're still building. We still got a lot of recognition, and I actually want to make this clear as well. We've actually gotten a lot of offers as well to build on other chains. So like, well, I did talk about SwapBlast earlier. We're on Blast ourselves because we just sort of see um, an opportunity there in terms of blast points. We've actually had offers for a bunch of other layer twos as well, but base is really where it's at, and I think you guys have sort of realized that yourselves. You know what I mean? With the fees dropping and everything. And Lorande, thanks by the way for asking all the good questions as well. I mean, like I said earlier, um, I may be cutting myself off, but the best thing is to educate you guys. And as I educate you guys sort of educate the market. Because, like I said, how did I learn myself into crypto? It was learning from other people, and whether it be through Twitter threads or yeah, I'm not really a fan of like YouTube marketing, right? But actual smart like YouTubers who do know their stuff, right? Who are going through protocols and educating people and you're sort of starting to understand things. It's like, okay, now I can actually pivot myself towards XYZ, and now I actually feel more confident. And then you can ask questions as well, and then we can improve and all that stuff. Just to make sure. No, man, if I could only tell you how hard the dev actually works, it's actually insane. Like it is. I literally think this guy's like an android. Like honestly, like the amount of like how much stuff he just can spit out and how fast he can do it and as how flawlessly stuff works. Believe me when I say, me personally, I've worked with a lot of other people. It's like he's doing what sometimes four people can't do. And I'm not just saying that to sort of just hype him up, but it is actual fact. But yeah, just know they're working around the clock. We all are ourselves as well too. That's why we have, you know what I mean, a small team because we work well together too, right? People are always saying things like, why don't you just hire another person for XYZ? The reality is because we have the capabilities to do anything, and there isn't actually a rush to do anything. If you guys have sort of seen with just the state of everything. Any new pairs coming? Maybe a marketing competition? Yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, we are in talks with some new some new people migrating liquidity over. But like I mentioned earlier, if you guys do have tokens yourselves on any other DEX, you're free to provide that liquidity onto SwapBased. Obviously, watch for the price that you're setting it at onto whatever pool. But that's more for like the more advanced trader. But yeah, we are in talks with people migrating some liquidity over so they can trade as well onto SwapBased, as well as aggregators. And like I mentioned earlier, we're going to partner as well with Otis Router so that you guys don't have to pick between V2 and V3. But like I mentioned earlier, when you guys do go to swap ETH or USDC, just go ahead and check the rates on V2 and V3, and you'll see what I'm talking about towards that, and why we're leaning so heavily towards V3. So yeah, I think most of the questions were regarding base and coin. Um, I just want to make sure I covered everyone's questions on that. Once again, I'll go through the questions on that. I'll talk maybe a little bit more about SwapBlast, even though our focus, like I said, is more on swap-based, because Blast is sort of just something else that we're doing. But it is. Let me reiterate this and make it very clear. Um, SwapBlast does not impact the development of swap base at all. If anything, it improves it. The reality is, we released the V3 formula on SwapBlast before, as well as this instant exit method, so that we can make sure that it works properly on swap based. If you guys know what I mean. So we didn't want to bring you guys anything that I mean was having even more issues on the front end or things like that. So. You know, when things change, as there's more TVL and more information loaded and more stuff on the blockchain, things just change, right? But like I said, everything's working on the back end, and yeah, I'll say this for a fourth time because it's something that I'm very proud of. That we've never been exploited. We haven't been hacked. No malicious funds. Nothing really like that. And regarding the Harvest Haven Launchpad, we're gonna have a postmortem on that. It's not something we're gonna ignore either. And I think that's everything I touched upon. I did sort of repeat myself a lot. Um, like I said, we do have like a lot of great milestones, like over 500 mil TVL since we, over 500 mil volume since we did launch. That's a pretty big feat, you know what I mean? And I'm really excited to go to 1 billion because I think that can definitely happen towards this summer as well. I mean, I'm really proud of our TVL as well. I think we can go even higher towards that part. And yeah, just really excited, just more towards everything to sort of just bring back to you guys with regards to base, coin, and that's just really all it is, right? You can't have coin without base, right? I mean, I know that's kind of sort of a cringy thing to sort of say, but you got to remember that that's why we sort of named this tokens. It's a marketing tactic as well, and it works really well too. So like we all ourselves we love memes too. So you got to remember that as well. Like we're part of the like we're immersed in this culture as well. So that's one thing too. Like we know a lot of the meme coins too. We're invested in them too. So that's one thing for us. That's why we want them over on SwapBased, and that's why we encourage you guys to tell your favorite projects, hey guys, go contact SwapBased, and you'll be surprised about how much more support we do give rather compared to other dexes. Awesome. So it doesn't seem like there's any more questions, but like I said, if there is, just go ahead and at me in the chat or CD or anyone. Make sure you guys turn off DMs. I mean, I say this to everyone. I mean, don't answer to anyone. We'll never DM you, nothing like that. We're constantly trying to lock down the Discord. And yeah, just be safe and ask any questions. Have a good day, guys. And I think I'm gonna stop the AMA here.